Tonight, accused tobacco warlord Nazir Hadara released on bail, even though he tried to leave the country.
Breaking news on a Gippsland gunfight, a man taken down by police.
Rap fans and security guards go toe-to-toe, clashing at Travis Scott's Marvel Stadium concert.
Friends and colleagues paid tribute to a young pharmacist murdered in his Belfield home.
The Premier's new plan to turn Melbourne into the nation's townhouse capital.
And Australia's Sporting Hall of Fame welcomes a surfing legend and an athletics golden girl into the fold.
This is Melbourne's 9 News with Alicia Loxley and Tom Steinfort.
Good evening. An alleged crime kingpin accused by police of being at the centre of Melbourne's tobacco wars has been granted bail. Despite police fears, he's a risk to community safety and could flee.
Nazir Hadara walked from court with a co-accused after he was arrested at Melbourne Airport earlier this week. Isabel Quinlan with more.
Suitcase still in hand, Nazir Hadara is a long way from Dubai.
Should the public be scared now that you're free?
The 25-year-old boxer was arrested at Melbourne Airport earlier this week, accused of directing the activities of a criminal organisation and knowingly possessing unlawful imported tobacco.
Police allege that you're one of the ringleaders of this syndicate. Is that true?
One of his co-accused, Hassam Jassem, also released, despite police arguing both pose a serious risk to the safety of the community and may flee the state or country.
Do you have anything to say about the allegations against you?
Magistrate Michelle Hodgson told the court, while there is a significant risk of both endangering the safety of other members of the community, I'm satisfied that conditions could be put in place to mitigate the risk to a certain level. Those include sureties of $100,000 and $150,000, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. curfews, reporting to the Werribee police station 3 times a week, and surrendering passports. They must not contact witnesses unless they are a family member or visit stores or businesses selling tobacco products. They can only have one mobile phone each, with the numbers provided to police. The magistrate also took into account both men had no prior convictions and noted the case may take some time as detectives work to compile all the evidence.
Do you have anything you want to say about these allegations?
And we'll go live now to Isabel Quinlan. Izzy, police have just charged another person over the distribution of illicit tobacco.
They have, Tom, a 41-year-old Tarneet man. It comes after police conducted a number of search warrants at tobacco shops in Newcombe and Corio, where they located and seized around 80,000 illicit cigarettes, more than 100 vapes and cash. Now, that man has been bailed to appear here at the Melbourne Magistrates Court next week, while those other 2 men, Tom, will appear here in court next year.
All right, Isabel, thank you.
Let's go to breaking news for you now. And a gunman has fired at police during a standoff with officers at a home in South Gippsland. Reid Butler is following this story. Reid, the man then spent several hours on the run.
Yes, Alicia, quite an alarming situation. It started after police from the illicit firearms squad visited a home in Dumbalk North to execute a warrant. It's about 160 kilometres southeast of Melbourne, not too far away from Leongatha. Police have been keen to stress it's early days in the investigation, but what they've told us is that the man who lives at the property fired shots at detectives. A gunfight erupted, police firing back. The suspect then ran away, sparking a massive search. Now, the news helicopter has been tracking all of this. We've captured a man being worked on by paramedics, and it is believed that that may be the gunman. In good news, Alicia, no police officers have been injured.
OK, Reid, thank you.
A young Travis Scott fan has suffered a seizure following a violent clash with security guards at a Marvel Stadium rap concert.
Witnesses claim while some in the crowd did the wrong thing, the reaction from guards was over the top. Here's Stephanie Anderson.
A guard's flying kick knocks a fan unconscious on a night of chaos inside Marvel Stadium.
He's landed on the ground and it looked like he hit his head as well. So the security guards jumped on him straight away and actually tried to pick him up. And that's when you can see he's shaking and then they lie him on his side and yeah, that's when you realise he's having a seizure.
The young man was treated by St John Ambulance and was sitting up as he was stretchered away. The drama all unfolding before American rapper Travis Scott even made it onto the stage.
Came back out on crutches and people were yelling stuff at him because everyone had seen what he'd done, and he started flipping people off in the crowd and making a joke of it.
55,000 people were packed into Marvel for Scott's second Melbourne concert last night, but it was when some with seated tickets tried to jump barriers and bolt into the mosh pit that things took a dangerous turn.
Just wasn't right at all. It's not normal and it shouldn't happen.
Live now to Stephanie Anderson, who's outside Marvel Stadium. Steph, how many people had to be treated?
Well, Alicia, Ambulance Victoria has confirmed that 5 people were transported to hospital from the concert last night. I've also reached out to Marvel Stadium management. They are aware of this footage online and say they're now conducting a post-event debrief with their security contractors. Police also had a visible presence inside and outside the event last night. They say no arrests were made and at this stage there's no complaints relating to the concert in their system. Alicia.
OK, Steph, thank you.
The apparent random murder of a young pharmacist stabbed to death inside his Belfield home has sparked tears, tributes and fear. Friends described the victim as warm and generous as a 54-year-old homeless man faced court charged with murder. Crime reporter Gillian Lantouris has more.
An accused killer calmly buying a donut at a milk bar just hours after allegedly stabbing a man to death. The victim was Kam Chuan Leong, also known as KC. The 29-year-old had just graduated with a master's degree less than a month ago. The pharmacist at Eastern Health didn't arrive at work yesterday, so a concerned friend went to check on him at his Belfield home, making the grim discovery just before lunch.
It's just been so sudden and devastating, and he definitely did not deserve what had happened to him.
Casey's employer telling 9 News he was warm and generous. Casey was recognised as a talented leader and was also a mentor for many of our emerging pharmacists. He will be remembered for his passion, kindness and dedication to his team and the broader community. It's understood Casey was stabbed in the back multiple times. His accused killer, a 54-year-old homeless man, was arrested at a park across the road 12 hours later. Simon Hunter was shirtless and agitated as he faced court today charged with murder, muttering, "I have the right to kill who I want," after his appearance. He was remanded. Hunter's lawyer told the court he suffers from schizophrenia and hasn't been taking his medication. It's understood the men didn't know each other and the allegedly random attack has locals on edge.
Someone's life has ended. It's really serious. It shakes you a little bit.
Casey's parents arrived in Melbourne from Malaysia today, now battling overwhelming grief over their son's death.
I feel like I've been robbed of someone really special in my life.
Gillian Lantouris, 9 News.
The co-founder of high-end restaurant group Nomad has pleaded guilty to displaying a swastika at a pro-Palestinian rally. Hallie Francis reports Alan Yazbek will be sentenced later this year.
An esteemed restaurateur whose success is owed to good decision-making. Whether this choice was regrettable is a question only Alan Yazbek can answer.
Alan, do you regret your actions?
The co-founder of Hatted Nomad restaurants in Sydney and Melbourne, charged with displaying a Nazi symbol at a pro-Palestinian rally earlier this month. Police alleging the sign resembled the flag of Israel, with a Star of David replaced with a swastika, the words "Stop Nazi Israel" held among a 10,000-strong crowd.
Respectfully, no comment. No comment.
The 56-year-old today pleading guilty, his wife Rebecca posting on the business's social media accounts. For over 10 years, Nomad Group has operated on the basis of inclusivity, integrity, respect, dedication and excellence. This remains unchanged. Our actions in response to our behaviour demonstrate our commitment to honouring these values.
The public display of Nazi hate symbols and salutes was criminalised under New South Wales law 2 years ago. The maximum penalty for an individual, $11,000 or 12 months imprisonment.
Yazbek is due to be sentenced in early December. At Downing Centre, Haley Francis, 9 News.
Suburban backyards are the latest target of the Premier's housing blitz. Jacinta Allen announcing plans to streamline subdivisions and declaring she wants to make Victoria the nation's townhouse capital. State political reporter Heidi Murphy with more.
The pitch to voters is coming into focus.
I want to be the Premier who gets millennials into homes, and I consider that to be the fight of my life.
Jacinta Allen using a lunchtime speech to reveal her next target.
We'll have a plan to make Victoria the townhouse capital.
Backyard subdivisions to be streamlined from next year.
To build a second home on your block. Not a granny flat, a house.
Changes may include cutting approval timelines from 60 days to 10 or scrapping planning permits.
We do need protection for things like trees and car parks, and rules in flood and heritage overlays must still apply.
Details to be decided with industry in the new year.
Have you formed that panel yet?
We've announced it today, and Sonia's we'll be putting that together pretty quickly.
The Planning Minister's also been putting together an apology to victims of bad builders.
I am so deeply sorry for the pain that they have experienced.
Admitting
the system has let them down, and it has let them down badly.
That failing system, the Victorian Building Authority exposed by 60 Minutes and finally getting an overhaul.
There will be a new industry watchdog, the new Building and Plumbing Commission.
It'll be able to force builders to fix defects after a homeowner moves in, block the sale of apartments with serious defects, and have tighter requirements before occupancy certificates are signed. But the opposition is sceptical.
How can we trust the Allen Labor government to fix a problem they've created and that they've overseen?
Today is the line in the sand.
And Heidi's here with us now. Lots of possibilities. When do they become realities?
Well, you can ask that question, Tom, Alicia, on just about anything that the government has announced over this past week. A lot of big ideas, a lot of aspirations. We'll probably find out sometime next year. That's when we'll get some of the specifics. For example, relaxing subdivision rules. We won't know more for months yet because they need to work through the details. Jacinta Allen, though, says this is not a housing week. It is a housing government she is leading. If she wants to be measured on that, she is going to have to deliver.
OK, we shall see. Heidi, thank you. 5 people have been killed and 22 injured in a terror attack at a Turkey aerospace facility. It sparked revenge strikes in Iraq and Syria. Turkey reporting more than 30 Kurdish military targets were destroyed in the air assault. Hannah Sinclair has more.
Terror in Turkey's capital. The Turkish aerospace industry's headquarters near Ankara targeted. A man and a woman armed with assault rifles and wearing backpacks opening fire, taking aim at anyone in their way at the secure facility. Inside, staff took shelter where they could as an explosion and gunshots rang out. Heavily armed police quickly descending on the scene where they killed 2 attackers. Among the victims, staff, a security guard and a taxi driver. Paramedics treating the injured as relatives of employees showed up, hoping their loved ones weren't among the dead. From Turkey's President Erdogan, it is an insidious terrorist act. Rest the souls of our martyrs. The Turkish government believes militant group the Kurdistan Workers' Party is likely behind the attack. The Turkish military retaliating, launching airstrikes on targets in Iraq and Syria linked to the group also known as PKK. Staff who survived the terror in Turkey refusing to give in to fear. In London, Hannah Sinclair, 9 News.
One of those closest to Donald Trump has delivered an ominous warning. His former chief of staff declaring the Republican candidate wants to govern like a dictator and regularly praised Adolf Hitler while in office. Alison Petrowski has the details.
He was President 45's longest-serving chief of staff. Now 4-star Marine General John Kelly has sounded the alarm over a Trump second term.
If he was left to his own devices, would he be a dictator if he didn't have people around him?
So he certainly falls into the general definition of fascist. He commented more than once that that Hitler did some good things too.
In a separate interview for The Atlantic, Kelly confirmed Trump's disdain for his country's own military. The president once telling him, "I need the kind of generals that Hitler had."
Donald Trump is increasingly unhinged and unstable.
There was no mention of Kelly's allegations in Trump's public appearances today. Instead, his campaign issued a denial, taking aim at Harris, calling her a stone-cold loser whose campaign is in a shambles.
Do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
The Vice President is trying to define herself as an agent for change, but has struggled to find distance from Joe Biden. And for some, it's too late. Unlike 2020, Republicans are already flocking to the polls in person with Trump's encouragement.
The early voting is... people have never seen anything like it.
Nearly 20 million Americans have had their say, smashing pre-election records. In the United States, Alison Petrowski, 9 News.
Mick Fanning and Sally Pearson now sit alongside the country's greatest athletes after being unveiled as the newest members of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. Also among the 8 inductees, Victorian businessman turned sporting philanthropist Jerry Ryan. Nathan Curry reports.
The newest Hall of Fame members finally revealed after jetting into Melbourne under the cover of darkness.
Not my style really of travelling. I like to sort of sit down and have a coffee first, which I haven't been able to do yet, and we're in Melbourne and you have the best coffee in the world.
Olympic hurdles gold medalist Sally Pearson and 3-time world surfing champion Mick Fanning headlined the inductees and received their medals alongside former Kookaburras captain Mark Knowles and lawn bowls trailblazer Karen Murphy. Don Bradman, Dawn Fraser, can you believe that your name is going to be in there as well?
I know, I'd never put myself up against those people. There's so many incredible sports people from Australia, and to be in that circle, I'm blown away.
Among the other inductees, 6-time Bathurst winner Mark Scaife, the late women's basketball pioneer Betty Watson, and businessman and administrator Jerry Ryan, recognised for his contribution to 5 different sports. They'll all be honoured at a gala dinner at Crown on November 18.
It's a big deal. It's a big gig. This is not a rubber chicken gig. So who's who of sport and business in this country, celebrating the power of sport.
The gala dinner in November won't just be about the 8 inductees. There is also 2 legends being unveiled on the night. Any hints you can tease at the moment for us?
No.
Nice. Well, that remains a tightly guarded secret. It's time for these new Hall of Fame members to have their moment.
I know my career was very successful, and so maybe that's why I should be here, but at the same time it's, wow, my name is here.
When people are proud of you, that's a very special feeling.
Nathan Curry, 9 News.
Now here with a look ahead to sport, here is Tony Jones.
Thank you, Alicia. Thank you, Tom. Pride of Jenny is back in town ahead of the Cox Plate, and Kieran Maher is confident she's raring to go after her stint in Sydney.
The only concern was the travel, but I think we've sort of ticked that pretty well.
Plus, in sport tonight, the latest on Australia's search for an opener. It is ongoing. The off-season switch that's fuelling the rivalry ahead of the Melbourne derby tomorrow night. And there's no keeping Dyson down as tempers flare in the NBA. And we'll continue our countdown to the Cup Carnival. Tonight, it is number 9.
The best coverage of the carnival?
I did have that one initially and I thought, nah, too biased. Anyway, we found something else.
All right. We haven't done it yet, have we?
No.
Well, there's confidence for you.
No. Just saying Nostradamus. I mean, anyway.
Thanks, Tony. When 9 News Melbourne returns, the men accused of gunning down a debt collector with 11 children in Noble Park go on trial.
And Samoa toasts King Charles as the PM arrives for the Commonwealth Leaders Summit.
Lawyers for 3 men accused of gunning down a father in Noble Park have claimed they did it out of fear. Prosecutors say the 36-year-old was ambushed in a revenge attack, but counsel for the accused painted a very different picture. Here's court reporter Amber Johnston.
Exactly what happened in the doorway of this Noble Park home, that is the crucial question being posed to jury members in the murder trial of Tommy Lewanting. The father of 11 was shot dead in the hallway as 2 of his teenage boys were sat outside in a parked car just metres away. His accused killers were emotionless as they sat in the dock charged with his murder, accused of ambushing the young father in a revenge attack. But their lawyers allege the 36-year-old was the violent one. The jury was told it was all sparked over an outstanding debt, and Mr Lewanting was asked to confront one of the accused men over the money that was owed, bashing the alleged killer in the days prior and giving him 2 days to pay up. Prosecutor Neil Hutton SC accused the men of planning a revenge attack, telling the jury one of them sent the young father a text encouraging him to come to the home thinking he'd get the cash. Each of the accused was part of an agreement, and the plan was to kill or cause serious injury to Mr Lewanting. But lawyers for the three men say there was no plan and no agreement, alleging they were worried about being bashed again, and the shooting was in response to Mr Lewanting's violent and aggressive behaviour in the unit. The fate of these three men now sits in the hands of 14 jury members who will hear evidence from a number of experts and witnesses, including Mr Lewanting's 2 teenage boys. Amber Johnston, 9 News.
Israel has escalated its assault on Lebanon, bombing the historic port city of Tyre for the first time. Explosions were heard close to a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The blasts come after the IDF confirmed the man believed to be Hezbollah's next leader is dead.
A bomb scare at Birmingham Airport in the UK has brought operations to a halt, forcing flights to be suspended and passengers evacuated. Witnesses described areas around the airport as chaos, with police swooping in to inspect a suspicious car. The vehicle was later deemed safe by the explosives disposal team.
King Charles is hosting a state banquet for Commonwealth leaders, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, as a key summit gets underway in Samoa. Liz Daniels reports His Majesty has toured coastal village communities on the front line of the climate emergency.
Heralding the arrival of a king, island style. Gifts and garlands as His Majesty gets a taste of the Pacific. The cup of kava, symbolic of community and connection, and this royal tour has plenty of both. Samoans delighted and a cheeky king happy to play along.
But now you're a member of our village.
A village which saw floods in 2018 that devastated the mangroves and exposed how climate change is leaving coastal communities increasingly vulnerable to erosion and pollution.
So we're still working on it. This is recovery. We're working on it.
A cause close to the sovereign's heart. Queen Camilla's focus today was the scourge of violence against women.
We have a gigantic task ahead of us. It is this: to end domestic and sexual violence across the Commonwealth, now and forever.
Their Majesties are in Samoa for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, bringing together leaders from 56 nations, including Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, who touched down late this afternoon.
We share history. We share common values as democracies, and it's an opportunity to talk about the shared challenges.
And the Commonwealth challenge in chief is climate change, a fitting focus as the Blue Pacific hosts the meeting for the first time.
To put it plainly, it is a death sentence for us, Tuvalu, if larger nations continue to increase their emission levels.
Certainly the focus that I bring to the next couple of days will be engaging on climate change.
Liz Daniels, 9 News.
Let's go live now to Liz in Samoa. Liz, what's the plan for the leaders tonight?
Well, Alicia, you find us in quite a wild and windy Samoa this evening. The leaders tonight will have the chance to sit down as a Commonwealth family and for a dinner, a state banquet hosted by the King. This is His Majesty's first Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, presiding as sovereign. And our Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese, has already found a friend in the crowd, the UK PM, his counterpart, having a casual catch-up with him. And those casual chats really are key at these summits, especially as we look to try to keep our Pacific neighbours close in the wake of the rise of China. Tonight, an extraordinary attack on Australia from Beijing, Australia being plagued by racism and violating refugee rights. That's the accusation in response to concerns that were raised about Chinese human rights abuses. Now, Alicia, tonight Anthony Albanese says that while he will cooperate with China where he can, he will also continue to disagree where he must.
OK, Liz Daniels in Samoa, thank you.
Bit windy there. Livinia is here with the weather here, and it felt a bit chilly today, Livinia.
Oh, it really did, Tom. Happily Samoa weather. In the city, while the mercury recorded a maximum of 17 degrees, the feels-like temperature at that time was 13, 4 degrees lower. The wind chill knocked the feels-like temperatures back right around Melbourne. The numbers in red are the maximums, while the ones in blue are the apparent temperatures. So we can see that when Avalon reached 19 degrees, it felt like just 7. It was due to these cooler southwesterly winds, which will be with us again tomorrow, and it'll be even colder for our Friday, Tom and Alicia.
OK, Livinia, we will see you shortly. Coming up for you, last-minute promises from the leading candidates as the race for Town Hall goes down to the wire.
Powerful winds whip up towering tornadoes in the desert near Dubai.
And Panadol packets to shrink as the regulator limits painkiller pill sales.
9 News, brought to you by Hyundai. Have you tried it? Now you can.
Police have released video of a suspect in a city stabbing, saying they want to talk to this man, who they believe is responsible for the knife attack on a 30-year-old man. They say the victim was stabbed twice on King Street before fleeing on foot. The attacker was wearing a black and white hoodie, black pants and shoes. The victim suffered serious wounds and had to have surgery.
The race to be Melbourne's Lord Mayor is finally drawing it to a close, with the 2 leading candidates revealing their last-ditch sweeteners to win votes. There is no love lost between incumbent Nick Rees and Aaron Wood, but who will come out on top? We sent Reid Butler to find out.
It's all come down to this. The stage is set. The shoes are off. The bowl, not great. But the pocket square, perfectly primed. Lord Mayor Nick Rees is almost at the finish line.
We're ready to take our city forward.
The incumbent at this bowls club at Flagstaff Gardens, spruiking his pledge for free fitness sessions for seniors, new parents and students.
Do you care who's Lord Mayor of Melbourne?
Oh, not really, no. As long as they do an honest job, but that's the main thing. I'm playing a bowls match here, so I've got to let you go.
Bowler Julian's mind may be on the game, but the Lord Mayor's eyes on the prize.
I'm the only candidate with a fully costed plan that can be delivered.
Enter fierce rival Aaron Wood.
We're the only team that's received full ticks against our policies from the Vic Chamber. We're really proud of that.
Wood's last-ditch effort to win votes is a Walk of Champions, Hollywood Walk of Fame style, featuring the names of sporting greats.
From the Flinders Street station, potentially all the way to the MCG, and we think we'll create a real buzz and a real interest.
But who will be the ultimate champion, crown the winner after this gruelling process? I think Julian actually stands a pretty good chance. He's been bowling really well today. Now that's a champion. But when it comes to the mayoral race, it's anyone's game. Postal voting closes at 5 p.m. tomorrow, and we could know the new Lord Mayor by the end of the following week. Hey! Reid Butler, 9 News.
Well, parts of the United Arab Emirates have been hit with dust storms. The wild weather churning up multiple twisters. It made for a spectacular and intimidating sight. At one point, 3 of the dust devils formed within metres of one another. A major change is on the way for a common painkiller. Packets of paracetamol are set to shrink under new restrictions to combat misuse of the products. Gabriella Rogers explains.
For this familiar brand, the process of downsizing is underway.
People will start to notice changes to the pack sizes of paracetamol products across Australia. There has been a big kind of effort behind the scenes to make sure that we're having continued supply.
The changes apply to most paracetamol products, including cold and flu tablets, from February.
This legislation strikes the balance between trying to protect people from overdose but also allowing people to still access paracetamol.
Nationally, paracetamol pack sizes in supermarkets and convenience stores will shrink from 20 to 16 tablets. In pharmacies in a majority of states, only 50 packs will be readily available. Anything more will be moved behind the counter through the pharmacist. In Queensland and WA pharmacies where regulations differ, only 16-pack tablets will be readily available. Anything more will move behind the counter.
These changes just bring us in line with many other countries.
Dr Cairns among the panel of experts prompting change to help reduce liver injuries and deaths.
There was an increasing number of overdoses with paracetamol in the past decade. That was primarily involving young people.
The downsize doesn't mean people will pay the same.
People will see a change in the recommended retail price.
The impact of these changes to consumers is considered small compared to when codeine was made prescription only 6 years ago.
It did impact quite significantly on those people who are relying on that medication. But again, we've got to look at the pros and cons around harm and safety.
For those struggling to cope, help is available on 13 11 14. Gabriella Rogers, 9 News.
Still ahead in the news, a special cost of living report from Nine's money editor, Effie Zahos.
Gone are the days that you could feed a family of 4 for $10. But could you do it on a budget of $15? Now, a new tool that's about to launch says you can.
Also ahead, a New Zealand-bound flight diverts to Melbourne to offload an unruly passenger.
Outstanding Victorian seniors recognised for their community contributions.
And sweet success, Sugar the sheep thriving a year after being rescued.
A man has been hauled off an international flight with his hands cable tied after allegedly assaulting a crew member. The New Zealander is accused of failing to comply with staff on Wednesday before injuring one of them on the flight from Perth to Auckland. The flight was diverted to Melbourne, where the 23-year-old was removed by police.
Food takes a big bite out of the household budget, but a new app is promising to feed a family of 4 for just $15. Grocerise has joined forces with customer-owned Beyond Bank to help people save money. Money editor Effie Zahos has the story.
Meet the Hyde family, Adrian, Georgina and Charles and their auntie Rachel from Sydney's north. Like many households, the weekly spend on groceries has skyrocketed.
I would say on average it's about $400.
But their bill has been brought down significantly thanks to the initiative Family Feeds for $15.
Knowing that we can control that budget around our food means we can put some more money to things that we really want to do.
Something that helps you think, takes a bit of the stress out of it. We're all busy, we're all working full time.
Price comparison app Grocerise has teamed up with one of the country's largest customer-owned banks, Beyond Bank, for the initiative, which launches tonight and runs over 6 weeks.
We get the prices from Woolworths and Coles every Wednesday on the shopping lists, and from those items that are on special, we're able to create a meal plan, family feeds for $15.
It's been a hit for the Hydes.
It tastes really fresh and home cooked, which is nice.
Tonight's finger-licking Peshwari chicken, an all-family affair, and with a price tag of just $13.81. The cost of each recipe is based on the exact measure of ingredients needed.
Why is the bank interested in recipes?
So anything we can do to make bang for buck in their budgeting around groceries, we think is a good thing to be part of.
Wouldn't it have been easier just to give a rate cut?
Customer-owned banks, on average, contribute back about 4 basis points better than the majors do.
There are several grocery apps out there to help Aussies save, including Frugal, Half Price and Zeft. And some of them also include IGA and Aldi. But linking recipes to weekly prices is what makes Grocerise stand out. It is free, but you need to register on the bank's website to download the recipes. And by doing this, you agree to any marketing material.
So will it work for your family? Well, the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, the chicken. Effie Zahos, 9 News.
A deadly E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's has cost the company billions in the space of just a few hours. Finance editor Chris Kohler.
Investigators think the bacteria might have been in the sliced onions, and it was that E. coli that made dozens sick across 10 US states and killed 1 person. Macca's has pulled quarter pounders from the menu in those states and remains in full damage control mode. The share price buckled, down as much as 9%. That is roughly $20 billion before clawing some of that back. Meanwhile, attention on Wall Street was also on Tesla, which jumped after announcing a net income of $2.2 billion for the September quarter. Here on our market, a topsy-turvy day, spending much of the day in positive territory, but finishing basically steady again. WiseTech this afternoon announced CEO Richard White will stand down amid allegations of bullying and intimidation. And finally, the Aussie dollar is working its way back to 67 US cents, 62 euro cents and 52 British pence.
15 outstanding older Victorians have been recognised at the state's Senior of the Year Awards. Between them, they've devoted years of helping victims to domestic violence, veterans and their local communities. Mimi Becker was at Government House for the ceremony.
They're champions for change and giving back, but today was a chance to say thank you.
I'm honoured and I'm surprised and I'm overwhelmed.
Professor Manuela O'Connor was named the Victorian Senior of the Year, recognised for her tireless work as an advocate for preventing family violence.
I want to make sure that they feel safe, they feel at home.
She's among those leading the way and showing no signs of slowing down.
Not stopping anytime soon because life is for living, isn't it?
That sentiment echoed by the Lieutenant Governor, who addressed the crowd and presented the Senior of the Year awards.
Getting older is not a decline. It's a part of the ongoing process of growth, contribution and connection.
These seniors keeping connected to their communities by volunteering, like 94-year-old Jack Cooper.
I've had a lot of enjoyment out of it because you make a lot of good friends.
I'd urge anybody to get out there and join a group of some sort.
Today's recognition just as special for the seniors' loved ones, the older Victorians an inspiration to those who may follow in their footsteps.
Hopefully that they can see and have courage and confidence to say, well, I can do that too.
We can all learn something from this extraordinary group of seniors. They challenge what it means to age and prove you're never too old to live life to the fullest.
You keep going as long as you can. And the more active you are, the younger you feel. So why stop?
Mimi Becker, 9 News.
It was the sweet story that captured our hearts when Sugar the sheep was rescued after 6 months on the loose. Well, 12 months on, the woolly giant is due to be shorn again following that mammoth effort which removed almost 12 kilograms of wool last time. Sugar now lives happily at a hobby farm in Mount Evelyn.
It'd be great to lose 12 kilos that quickly. Something there for all of us. Tony Jones back with tonight's sport.
Oh, I was only going to take a shave. I'll give it a go. Anyway, thanks for that, guys. As debate rages about our opening combination for the tests, Hazelwood opens up about the pressure on our bowlers. We'll speak with him. Also tonight, a Cox Plate favourite touches down in Melbourne ahead of a big Saturday. And a swag of Aussies hit the court in the NBA. Dyson Daniels, literally. Aussie postman Josh Hazelwood believes India's batsmen are as dangerous as ever, despite last week's horror show against New Zealand. India, you might recall, was bowled out for 46 by the Black Caps, but Hazelwood believes they will bounce back. More from Luke Duffy.
It was a batting collapse that shocked world cricket.
Oh, what a catch!
India skittled for just 46 on home soil. But if you think they're heading down under in a vulnerable state, Josh Hazelwood says think again.
I don't think so. I think they're a pretty resilient group, India. As we saw in the second innings, they got 400, I think it was. So, yeah, I think they're sort of blimps in the radar for them.
India's batting lineup still boasts legends like Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma, plus a number of rising stars.
A dangerous team, and yeah, I think that probably doesn't happen too often.
Hazelwood, Pat Cummins and Mitch Starc played all 5 tests last summer, but don't expect the same from the fast bowling unit this year.
We did it last year, but it was probably a one-off.
Still, the Quicks won't be volunteering for a rest.
If you're fit, you play. If you're not, you don't play. So it's as simple as that. No one rests a test match. If you're ready to go, the day before, then you play.
4 weeks out from the first test, the bowlers are locked in, but selectors are still searching for a new opener. South Australian number 3 Nathan McSweeney has hit himself into contention, scoring 100 and 2 half-centuries from 4 Sheffield Shield innings. He'll get a chance to push his case further when he captains Australia A against India A next week.
As a kid growing up, you want to play for Australia and get that baggy green, so to have people talking like that is, I'm really lucky. I've been able to be pretty consistent for South Australia the last couple of seasons. I feel like my game's getting better.
Luke Duffy, 9 News.
Racing now in Cox Plate Fancy, Pride of Jenny is on track to deliver Kira Ma yet another big payday. After a Sydney mission last week, the horse has now arrived back in Melbourne, showing no effects from life on the road.
The only concern was the travel, but I think we've sort of ticked that pretty well. And yeah, she looks great. She put up well on Saturday, so I think she'll run back to form.
Owner Tony Otterbrae was there to welcome her home. All his horses have the name Jenny in them, a tribute to his daughter Jennifer, who died of brain cancer in 2015.
It'd be great to win the Cox Plate, but it's great for our horses, Jenny horses, to actually win a race.
Pride of Jenny is currently around the $5 mark. Soccer fans are hoping Saturday night's derby will reinvigorate the A-League. Melbourne City's former manager, Patrick Kisnorbo, did the unthinkable in the off-season, as Trent Neese explains.
In the heart of the city, both fighting to be crowned Kings of Melbourne. The Melbourne derby has produced some iconic moments over the years.
Threaded through, here's Archie Thompson, chance to win it, Thompson!
That is unbelievable from Tim Cahill.
But in recent times, crowd numbers have dropped. Between 2010 to 2019, games between Victory and City would average more than 31,000. Since last year, the 5 derbies held averaged just a touch over 21,000.
There's obviously was a peak, let's say years back, but COVID obviously upset that a bit, and probably a few other things.
However, this weekend the stage is set for another chapter to be added to one of the fiercest rivalries in Australian sport. Patrick Kisnorbo managed Melbourne City only 2 years ago, delivering them their maiden A-League title. Although this off-season, he decided to sign with crosstown rivals, Melbourne Victory.
Yeah, it adds more fuel to the game, and of course, I wish him success for the season, but not for this Saturday.
Saturday night will be the first time these two teams have met since last season's elimination final right here at Amy Park. That match saw 2 red cards handed out, and it went down to a thrilling penalty shootout. Victory ended up winning that final against City, although later lost in the grand final to the Mariners. And to say they're out for revenge this season would be a severe understatement.
We kind of use it as fuel to drive us forward, and yeah, I think we kind of put that behind us.
Trent Neese, 9 News.
The drama of the NBA season is back in full swing. Today's edition featuring some Aussie talent. Dyson Daniels was pivotal in the Atlanta Hawks win over Ben Simmons and the Brooklyn Nets, but it was this incident that had tempers flaring.
Daniels to the basket and gets dropped. And Dyson Daniels going after Claxton.
Elsewhere, Josh Giddey's first season appearance as a Chicago Bull didn't quite go to plan, losing to New Orleans 123 to 111. And now we continue our countdown to the start of the Cup Carnival, which of course you'll see right here on 9. In fact, there's 9 days to go before Flemington comes alive. Significant because 53 kilos is the most popular weight carried 9 times. The most recent was Prince of Penzance. 53 kilograms was also handy for Bart Cummings. Among his winners to carry that weight, Viewed, Kingston Rule and Think Big in his first win. So there you go. When you're doing your form, check out the weights.
Very good. Getting better and better. I look forward to tomorrow night, Tony. Thank you. Lavinia returns now with the latest on the weather, and we'll have another cold day tomorrow.
Oh, we will, Alicia. It'll be even colder than today and around 4 degrees below average for this time of year. Our maximums will bounce back for the weekend, and I'll have the full forecast for you after the break. Good evening. The sun made a few brief appearances today but couldn't do much to lift the temperature. The city peaked at 17 at around 3:30 this afternoon, but the wind chill with the southwesterlies meant the feels-like temperature was 4 degrees colder. It was windy around town, 56 kilometres an hour at Avalon, 46 at the airport, 44 at Frankston. Maximums of mainly 16 and 17 degrees through the east, mainly 18 and 19 through the west. Statewide, only Malakuta stayed in double figures overnight, then under partly cloudy skies went on to a maximum of 18, along with Aries Inlet. There are a few showers along the Gippsland coast with just over 3 millimetres falling at Yarram. There's severe storms possible for parts of northeastern New South Wales and southeast Queensland this afternoon and this evening. Lightning, damaging winds and large hail are possible. Byron Bay, Coffs Harbour and Port Macquarie are in the firing line. Storms are possible for the Sunshine Coast, Gold Coast and Brisbane this evening, and the threat of storms also tomorrow. Brisbane, 30 degrees. Friday for Sydney, a light shower and 21 degrees and 19 for Canberra. Tomorrow, cool for most of the state with below average temperatures, single figure minimums right across the board and a cloudy morning through the south, partly cloudy skies in the north and up to 22 at Mildura. Light showers through South Gippsland. Showers tonight across Melbourne, a lingering shower tomorrow morning. Maximums range from 11 at Ferny Creek to 17 at Frankston, Werribee and Avalon. Friday in Geelong, partly cloudy and 16. In the city also 16. Maybe a light morning shower, but sunny through the afternoon. The sun comes out to play just in time for the weekend. Sunny, top of 21 on Saturday. A few dark clouds around on Sunday, 25. Light showers and cool southwesterly winds return from Monday. A top of 16 under cloudy skies. That cloud lingers over Melbourne for Tuesday and Wednesday. Tops of 18 and 19. Possible light showers. Back to 16 on Thursday. Tonight we have some showers. Heaviest around midnight. So tomorrow there's the chance of a light morning shower, then a partly cloudy top of 16 and sunshine for the weekend.
Sounds good, Livinia. Thank you. That is 9 News this Thursday. Ali is next with the current affair.
We hope you have a great evening. For now, good night.